Okay, now I think this is the question that a lot of people have in their mind today. Does it still make sense to invest in properties today? Okay, so we have actually tailored our content to answer this question. So after today, you will have a very clear answer. Yes, it makes sense. No, it doesn't make sense. So this is what we actually want to achieve today. Just in case you have not met me before, my name is Emin. I am a MD and founder of this company called Invest Coach, with the vision of everyone makes sound investment decision.
I'm actually a real estate consultant from Next. So I think what really sets apart is I'm on the ground, really talking to customers and talking to sellers and buyers, and then really feeling the ground.
Standard disclaimer: make money, be happy; lose money, don't score us. Now, before I answer the question, also don't forget today's topic is, hey, property market still can invest or not? Before we answer this question, I just want to share with you this story. So this is a case based on a true story. By the way, this is based on true story. We have changed the numbers and changed the name to simplify the stories. But yep, I just want to share this story first. Of course, I don't tell story for fun. You will get to know more about the context of this story very soon. So anyway, 5 years ago, we met up with this couple. Let's call them Mr. and Mrs. Tan. So, like I said, it's actually based on true story. They came to us and asked us this question: A, should we upgrade or not? Should we upgrade to their? Should I upgrade to a condo Upgrade to a condo. So this is some of the specs of Mr. and Mrs. Tan, or some of their situation at that point in time. Both 40 years old, both working, monthly combined income of 12,000. They own a HDB flat in Bukit Merah worth about 600,000, fully paid. They have this very clear objective of wants to have $1 million for retirement. So when you actually ask them, hey, what's your investment objective? Why do you actually want to upgrade? They actually want to accumulate $1 million for retirement. So this is their condition at that point in time. Okay, now the first thing we actually did then was to help them understand their risks. So the question we asked was, is it too much for them financially? So again, we actually work with some numbers. So interestingly, what they had in mind was to upgrade into 1.2 million resale property. And if they were to deposit 25%, which is only 300K. So very interesting for them, in fact, for most people, once you upgrade, you can actually get cash rich. Okay, so what happened here is this: they initially had this $600,000 locked inside HDB building, locked inside HDB flat. So imagine this: you sell, you actually get 600. Of course, you need to put 300,000 into the next property as a deposit. And hey, interestingly, you actually get cash of 300,000. So that is for their case. And of course, the money have to come from somewhere. They have to take up a loan of 900,000. So this is the risk that they are concerned, and we are also concerned from them. So at that point in time, 5 years ago, interest rate was low. Their money payment worked out to about $4,000. Okay, so with that income, the mortgage payment is really quite comfortable. And don't forget, they have this $300,000. They actually have a buffer for more than 6 years of payment. Of course, assuming interest rate don't change based on the interest rate at this point in time. Okay, so basically we tell them, hey, look, you are actually quite safe. You should go ahead. And of course, indeed, they actually went ahead. So they actually upgraded to 1.2 million property. So 5 years later, which is today, okay, their price of the condo they bought at 1.2 actually become 1.5. Okay, the remaining loan, is actually 760. So initially they actually borrowed 900K. Okay, initially they actually borrowed 900K as mentioned, but when we actually pay our mortgage, we don't only just pay interest, we also pay down the loan amount. Okay, so remember this. So when we actually pay our mortgage, we don't just pay interest, We also pay down loan amount. So in other words, you can see that we are actually saving money in our property because every month they are actually saving money by reducing the loan. Or put it this way, every month they are saving money by having more equity in the property. Okay, hope you understand I'm trying to get at. So they actually use the $300,000 to pay off. So after 5 years, you have 82,000. So basically, if let's say they were to sell the property today, they will get 1.5 million, pay off the loan, add back the cash, they would have $822,000. Okay, they were $822,000. So what is this calculation for? So of course, now interest rate has gone up. Okay, so let's say certain things happen, one of them stopped working, or for whatever reasons, they cannot pay the higher mortgage now. Now, based on this amount, 822,000, can they actually afford to downgrade back to a HDB today? No? Yes or no? Can they actually downgrade back? Yes, thank you so much. So, okay, so these are some of the risk management we have done for them. Okay. So at that point in time, they are worried about that 900,000 loan. What if this happen? What if that happen? So we tell them, number one, got a buffer. Number two, you can always downgrade back as per this example states. Okay, now we are talking a bit about the future. Okay, the future, 20 years later. 20 years later, let's assume that HDB price increased by 3% per annum. Inflation every year increase by 3%. So $600,000 property, let's say if they 600,000 property, why is 600? It's because 5 years ago it was 600. So 25 years later, 5 plus 20, it become 1.2 million. Okay, using 3% per annum. Okay. And let's assume that condo increase at 3%. By the way, which happens, if you do your numbers, 1.2 million, 5 years later become 1.5, is actually about 3%. Okay, 3% per annum increase. So it actually go up to become 2.5 million. And if they want, they could actually downgrade back to HDB 20 years later when they retire. And voila, they have achieved the objective of $1.3 million for retirement. Hey, don't forget why they want to upgrade in the first place. They actually want to accumulate wealth of $1 million, okay, for their retirement. And just by doing so, okay, they stay in a better place during that period. They enjoy the condo facilities. And after that, when they actually downgrade back, they actually get their $1.3 million. Okay, so of course, there are some assumptions here, like they can't sell, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But based on fair numbers, I think this is quite highly achievable. Okay, so that's not the end of story yet. We actually gave them an additional advice. With the cash release, don't go anyhow spend. So with proper planning, they may not even need to top up cash to service their mortgage. So this is what happened here. So assuming that they're going to invest this 300,000 and they get about 6%, okay, which is quite possible with REITs, for example. On average, they get about 1,500 per month. The mortgage payment is 4,000, and 2,500 can actually be from their CPF. Okay, so it's actually possible for them to upgrade without topping up cash. Cash as in, you can use 2,500 from your CPF and 1,500 from investment. Hey, voila, you can even upgrade without using cash. Okay, so this is the story, like I said, based on true case. So of course, you may be wondering, hey, why am I telling this story? Okay, so basically, I'm telling this story to set some background. Okay, let's get into certain framework. Okay, because when we say invest, the word invest, different people can mean different things. So I just want to set some framework or, have some boundary of what we might invest. So what is basically the moral of this story? Investment is not just about whether price can go up tomorrow or not. So a lot of people, when I ask what is investment, buy low, sell high, No, I buy today, hopefully shortest possible time will go up. Of course, I don't deny that's investment, but what I am like to define investment today is this. It's not just about whether the price can go up tomorrow or not. Okay, so I think to me, investment is actually for long term, especially for property. Okay, it's now more difficult to buy and sell property quickly. So I think investment, or at least how I want to define property investment, is actually more for long term. And also more specifically, when we talk about investment, okay, so there's a few things we want to consider. Okay, like number one, what is the objective you are trying to achieve? What investment objective are you trying to achieve? Okay, so in the case of Mr. and Mrs. Tan, they actually want to use property to accumulate wealth over long term. So if that is also your objective, hey, then I think today, in fact, most of the time, property investment is a good choice, regardless of how the market actually performs, if this is your objective. But if your objective is thinking about, oh, I want to buy a new launch, then quickly sell when the TOP, maybe today is not the best time. Okay, so hope you get what I'm trying to get at. So again, I just want to define what investment is. I do understand that investment may have different meaning to different people. So for the purpose of today's presentation, this is how I want to define investment. Okay, you have to be very clear on investment objective first. If you are talking about flipping very quickly, okay, so maybe it's not a good time for invest. But hey, if let's say you're talking about accumulate wealth over long term, yeah, it's definitely still a good time for investment. And of course, we'll feel more information later. Now, why this is so? Okay, why this is so? Okay, this one is going to be a tough question. I'm not going to give the answer so quickly, so really hope y'all can try, because I think this is an important point. Now, why property is very good to help people to accumulate wealth? Or basically, this question, besides capital gain, how is property helping Mrs. and Mrs. Tan to accumulate wealth? Property is actually a very good forced saving instrument. So think about what happened just now. Okay, they actually borrowed $900,000. 5 years later, the loan actually becomes $760,000, which means what happened over the 5 years? They have actually saved $140,000. Okay, 5 years save $140,000. So without the property, is it easy to save $140,000 over 5 years or not? So of course, think about this. Assuming income is only 10 to 12,000 per month, family of 4. Okay, without this forced saving mechanism, is it easy to save $140,000 over 5 years? So you know yourself best. Okay, so it's not easy, but because of this property, they are forced to pay mortgage. No choice every month to pay mortgage. Okay, no money, also have to go and find and pay mortgage. So that's what you save. So basically, property has another very good attribute in helping people make money, which is the forced saving mechanism that Kelvin has mentioned. Okay, so again, what I want to stress on here is this: if let's say this is your investment objective, accumulate wealth over long term, yes, today is still definitely a good time for you to invest in property. Okay, with some caveats, we'll talk about it soon, but the answer is yes. But if you are looking for quick return, you want to buy a new launch and quickly flip, okay, it's a little bit more challenging. So hopefully you actually get the main point here. And of course, investment is also about understanding risk. Can you manage the risk? Okay, when interest rate go up, can you still service the loan? If not, can you downgrade back? or will the price drop off, just like the case of Mr. and Mrs. Tan that I illustrated just now? If let's say you can manage the risk today, yes, today is still a good time for you to invest in property. But if today's interest rate is too high for you, there's not enough buffer, then no, investment is not a good time for you today. Okay, hope you know what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to define what investment is. And, it's not simply about just whether price will go up or not. So basically, it's also about yourself. What is your objective? Can I manage risk? And the thirdly is relative to your current state. Is it better off to change? Okay. Again, like for example, if let's say you are staying in the depreciating asset. So now there are actually certain assets. I think the government has already made it very clear. Okay. There are certain assets very likely after a certain age, they will continue to depreciate. If unfortunately you are staying in one of them, then of course, yes, it's a good time for you to invest in property right now. But then if let's say you already have a lot of properties or you are staying in a very good asset, then maybe the question is why invest in property? There's a lot of other things to invest. Okay, so in fact, what I really want to illustrate or to summarize, what I really want to illustrate with the story here is this. I want to be very specific on the questions we are trying to answer today. So instead of just saying whether A can invest or not, okay? So today, the question that we want to deal with is this: with the environment that's more challenging compared to 5 years ago, is property investment still suitable for you? Okay, you is the keyword. And of course, after this session, answer for some of you is actually yes. Answer for some of you actually no. Okay, depending on the points that I mentioned earlier, which is what is your objective, can you manage risk, and of course, what is your current state.